Welcome, everybody. This is Hadi Sayed Ali, Frisco Pinball. This is Wizards and Warriors, Episode 4. I am one of your co-hosts. It's been a while. I hope everybody's been having a great fall season. Intro to winter, as we call it here. Not really. And we're getting ready to close out 2024, which means a drive to the state championships. And what a year for pinball. It's only getting better as far as the quantity of pins out there from all the new releases. Metallica Remastered, Evil Dead has been announced, and the sheer variety of competitions has really picked up. And with that said, I'm going to pass the mic to my homie and co-host, Jay Land, aka Joe. How's it going, Joe?
Yo, what's going on, Hadi? Yeah, things are good, man. Things are good. Lots of pinball action. The race for states is kind of heating up as we approach the end of the year. So yeah, it's been very busy.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to play any of the new pins? X-Men, Metallica. What else came out? I know Alice was at Expo, Alice in Wonderland, ABBA, and am I missing anything? I don't think so.
Avatar is on the newer end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, our local spot got an Avatar and Uncanny X-Men, excuse me. And then I believe we're getting a Metallica remastered pretty soon. So hopefully we'll be able to get some time on that. It looks amazing from what I've seen.
Yeah, it looks absolutely absurd. Like just the sheer improvement of some of the issues that people had with it, and just adding the LCD. The art looks great too. So shout out Ray Day for being lead code on that and getting to put his hands on it. But as we talk return to competitive pinball, summer and fall were bonkers for tournaments. We had Papa, NWPC, the UK Open, Stern Pro Circuit Finals, Expo Flippin' Out Tournament, Pastimes Mega Match Play, Space City Open in Houston. There was the first annual Big D tournament in DFW, the System 11 Championships, LPA. Before we get into all of that, how have you been as far as pinball competitions? What have you been up to? Hosting any? TDing any?
Yeah, just been playing in the local league Monday nights, and then hosting our monthlies. I think the last time we talked was back in September, so yeah, I've had a couple monthly tournaments since then. And then I played in a couple of those that you mentioned, the Pastimes Mega Match Play, rocking the Pastimes gear today.
Hey, look at that. Hey.
And then OBX Flippers down in North Carolina. So
nice. That's awesome. I can't wait to hear about Mega Match Play. I'm excited to go visit Pastimes eventually, and I heard it's amazing, as well as just the sheer variety and some of the rare pins out there. Shout out Rob Burke, Guinness World Record holder for largest pinball collection. But also for this episode, we're going to have Jonathan S. on from Southern California. He is going to talk about the upcoming Pins and Pirates Rally, coming up this week, December 5th through the 8th at Captain's. As we talk about the race for the states, we'll play that interview for you a little later, and you can check it out and see the hype for that upcoming tourney if you're in the area or you want to make a push on your own for a chance at the California state playoffs. He'll have some info for you there. Now, with that said, this episode is going to be a lot more truncated. We're just going to go over some results, no in-depth analysis. Cincinnati's next week, and then Winter Bash the week after that. Once those two are done, we'll try to get episode 5 out, recapping one or both of those, holidays permitting. So we want to close the year out, give you some content here, and we'll go from there. So with that said, one of the first recent tournaments I'll talk about the UK Open in a little bit, was Now That's What I Call Whoppers. And for that, on September 29th in the main, we had Dominic Labella coming out on top with 108.27 points. And just as a side, we're not going to be showing the images because OBS is going crazy. So we'll read some of these out for you and then go from there. Jared August in third, Sterling Matoska in third, Jared August in second. Jared got 83 points. Jared having a very good fall, and you'll see why in a few a few minutes. Sterling in third with 70.64, and Tyrus Eagle in fourth with 60.72. Preston Curry also fifth at 52.71. What was after that, Joe?
Yeah, rounding out the top.
Next tournament. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Next tournament. Yeah. Well, before we go on, I guess shout out quickly to Dom Labella. He won the tournament, but that was also, I think, the first certified tournament that he had hosted. So he
this was his team. Oh, that's right.
Running the tournament there out in Michigan. So yeah, shout out to him, man. I got to hang out with him for a bit in Ohio. He was a really good dude.
Oh, that's so cool. So he was hosting it. And he won it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Congrats to you,
great
Dom.
job. Yeah, man. Next one on the docket here, we've got the Whopper Farm Harvest Festival. This is also I believe it was in Ohio, that Jack Nebraska put on. So for the top four here, we've got Andy Rosa taking home the W with 124.4 Whoppers. Big win.
Big win.
Greg Kennedy in second, 95. Matt Waters with a third place finish, 79. And then Steve Bowden rounding out the top four with 68.
Were these all at Trent's barn, I feel like? Or
I think this was, I'm actually not 100% sure, but it sounds right.
Sounds right? Yeah, I think so. Again, congrats everybody at the Whopper Farm Harvest Festival. And coming up after that, we led into, so that was the weekend of October 6th. And going into the next week, everybody was excited because it was the 40th anniversary of Expo. Extra day added to the event. A lot of cool factory tours from Stern, JJP, American Pinball. CGC had one, and a lot of pinball machines for you to play. Homebrew section was on fire. Everybody was talking positively about some of the amazing creations there. That Tony Hawk Pro Skater looked so sick. Did you get to see some video of that?
I did, yeah. I think there was I don't know if it was the creator that posted it on YouTube, but I watched a kind of in-depth video of like the features. It looks pretty awesome.
Dude, some of the things are so ingenious, and I hope something. I saw a picture of George Gomez, Jack Danger, and the creator. George was playing it, and they were all looking around it. It just looked awesome. I hope people take those ideas and come out with something creative, just like Uncanny X-Men. That was a nice change of pace. So at Expo, before Expo actually starts, we had the Stern Pro Circuit Finals. So with the Pro Circuit, there are 15 events, right, during the calendar year around then, and they each count as an event towards the Stern Pro Circuit. And at the culmination of the end of the circuit season, there is a large playoff format that's done pre-Expo. The grand prize is a Stern machine and some cash, I'm assuming, as well. But it's a lot of fun because they put it on ESPN style, and it was held at Antarium this year. And so your winner for the Stern Pro Circuit is Jared August out of Michigan. Whoppers are, not as big as other big tournaments, but it's a really cool honor. People love watching it, and I remember watching most of it. I think I had to bail during the last part of the finals, but Jared August in first, Eric Stone in second, Brian O'Neill with a great performance in the Pro Circuit Finals, and third, Escher Lefkoff they were tied for third, I guess. And Jason Zoller in fourth. Jason Zoller, Carlos de la Cerda, Steve Bowden, and Ray Day all tied for sixth. But really big congrats to Jared August. He's been playing well all summer and fall. We saw him at the Beast and other subsequent tournaments. Like I played with him in the quarterfinals at Papa 21 in the Classics. Just a great player. So congrats everybody there. And after that, what do we have? The start of Expo.
Yeah, let's go over the Expo main, the flip out big bracket tournament. Kind of putting himself on the map, moment. Jack Slovacek out of California won it over ZMAC. That was huge. He played incredibly well all weekend. and really got to showcase his skills. So congrats to Jack. Yep, ZMAC in second place there. Escher with third, and then shout out Preston Curry in fourth place for the main bracket. He crushed it that weekend. So
yeah, 150 whoppers for fourth is not a bad haul. That's not. Yeah, Jared in fifth. Yeah, right. Dalton in sixth. But it was interesting because the way this tournament is run is just very grinding. You're not out of it once you lose. It's you lose and then you go to the losers bracket, and then you have to win, and then you have to win an X amount of games to advance, and then the winner of the top winners bracket faces the winner of the losers bracket. How many games was it? 3? It's like best of 3 or best of.
I think in the earlier stage, I guess first stage, it's best of 3, and then I don't know when it switches over, but it's best of 5 towards the later stages.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun to watch, and I'll let you read off the women because shout out to them. They had to improvise because it went so long. So I think the biggest gripe with the way this format is run is the time it takes, and there were some changes that some of the competitors had to make about flights and what they were going to do, but go ahead.
Yeah, I understand they played until the early hours of the morning.
It's like 5 a.m.
So yeah. Shout out to them for really sticking it out and finishing the tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, the winners for the women's, we've got Jackie Olsen in first place, taking over 100 whoppers for first. That was awesome. Samantha Bacon in second, Kaylee Campbell in third, and El Rucco Leslie Ruckman in fourth place.
Awesome. Yeah, congrats, ladies. You definitely pushed through. I know it was exhausting. We were hoping to get some footage of it, but I know when the Saturday main was ending, you ladies were still going, and it was like they were going to finish that night. It ended up like a 5 a.m. deal. So you have those two, and then you've got Expo Classics. Who do we have there?
Yeah. So Zach Parks, he defended his title as the Classics champion from the previous year. So shout out Zach, taking home 189 whoppers there. Josh Sharp in second, Nick Campbell in third, and then BMU himself, Bob Matthews.
Bob, nice. Yeah. Hey, Preston in fifth too. Yeah.
And then another Preston Curry sighting there, tied for fifth place with Eric Stone.
I wonder how his ranking has improved since Expo, because those are some big wins.
Those are huge. Yeah, I've kind of messaged him and congratulated him separately, but I think he's got his eye on Austria next year, so this is going to set him up nicely for that.
Oh hell yeah! Good job. Keep pushing. Congrats to Bob too. Always pushing and grinding hard in classics. I have a feeling me and him during best games are going to be competing for most entries because I tend to find myself near him for just making sure I can push my way in. But yeah, after that we've got the LPA, so we're going to head overseas. The LPA Super Pin 24. I want to try to get, as we do these episodes, some more recognition and variety as far as who we recap. And your top 4, I apologize if I don't say your names correctly, but some good whoppers here. Vigo Logren, first place, 97.37 whoppers. Emil Dryborg in second with 76.58. And again, some of these players are top 50. Vigo, at the time of the tournament, was 6th. Emil was 54th. Jonas Wallström was 92nd. But coming in third, Mads Christensen was 65.37 whoppers. Jonas Wallström in fourth with 56.79. Congratulations to all our friends overseas there. I'll hit up the next one, the Southern Hemisphere Pinball Championship, held on October 27th, 2004. Our down south friends, Jason Lambert, ranked 69th, nice. In first with 108.31 points. David Clark, second with 89.49 whoppers. Lucas Ott, with 79.01. And Danielle Peck Is that the Spooky? I think that's the Spooky employee. Yeah.
Yeah, also current women's world champion.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that. So congrats to her coming in fourth at the Southern Hemisphere Pinball Championship and taking home 70.80 whoppers, leading into our next tournament to review, which is...
Oh, a little pastimes, like a match play.
Go ahead.
Nice. Yeah, let's go over this. So Greg Kennedy took this one down, 141.8 whoppers. Yeah, a lot of really good players here. Ohio really showed out, and it's a Ohio tournament, so big for their state's standings. Chris Stevens in second with 117. Galvin Morgan in third with 103. Galvin played really, really well that weekend. He qualified number one overall, I believe, during the kind of match play portion. And then Tyrus Eagle in fourth with 93 whoppers there.
Nice. And so why don't you attended? How'd you do?
I did. I missed the finals cut by I think 4 points.
Okay, so what was the format like? Was it obviously match play, but like how many rounds?
Yeah, it was 20 rounds of qualifying, and it was balanced pairing, so you get to play a decent amount of the 100 players there.
Okay.
Yeah, shout out John Del Zappo. He runs a tight ship, and with the help of the other TDs there, was able to get everything really smooth. So
is it?
Yeah, it was a good
spread
weekend.
Over 2 days, 1 day.
Yeah, it was 1 day of qualifying. We started at
1 day.
Yep, it started at 10 a.m. I believe, or maybe 11, and then we had a short break for lunch, and then another kind of short, a little bit longer, but still short break for dinner. And then we finished, I think, right around 10:30 or 11. So it's roughly 12-hour day of pinball.
That sounds great in my head, and
Yep.
I'll probably enjoy it like 90% while I'm doing it, but that last 10% is like driving home from a long car ride. You just want to get there. You just want to be done. But that's when you can overtake it. Did you have anything that you played? I know they've got so many rare pins there. Was there anything that surprised you of how fun it was or anything like that?
Yeah, so I played so Junkyard comes to mind. I've only played it maybe 2 or 3 times ever. But thankfully it's the way that I played it was just pretty simple. Just kind of up the middle all day to get multi-ball, and then just rinse repeat.
Yeah, Barry Orsler classic.
So somehow managed to play enough multi-balls to get like I think it was like the replay was at 9 or 10 million, and
nice.
Was able to get that on the first ball. So that felt pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good pin. I enjoy it. It's interesting. It's got some unique like modes where you're building stuff, and then it brings in other cameos from older games like Attack from Mars, and there's a Move Your Car in it from Creature. It's kind of cool. Was going to ask you about Pastimes. Is there anything else you want to mention about Pastimes? While we're on it, I know they have a few mega match plays a year, or they're planning on it. It looked like a really, really fun event. I'm bummed I couldn't make it. Family photos, I couldn't get out of those. But I know when I saw you were going, I was excited to kind of hear your overall opinions, and we can just hear that, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah, no, Pastimes is a great location. I know I mentioned to you before we started recording that it's worth going even without a tournament going on. There's just so many games there that you really won't see or be able to play anywhere else. And they all play, pretty well for the most part, I think. So they have really responsive text too. Like they, you can put in a ticket, and a lot of the times you put a ticket in, and like within a couple hours or so, like you'll see someone already working on the game. So it's just really,
awesome.
Really cool to see that. And yeah, great location. Shout out John. I don't know if they cut off earlier, but John Del Zappo ran the tournament and did a really good job. And
how were the milkshakes?
Went really smoothly. Milkshakes were they were amazing, man. They were surprisingly very good. Someone told me, I think during the break, was like, "Yo, you got to get a milkshake." I thought they were joking, and then I got one. I was like, "Okay, yeah, no, this is real."
How many?
You have to do it.
How many players were overall showed up to the mega match play? Was it over 100? Right?
I think it was capped at 100.
Okay.
I want to say, and then maybe there were a few people that didn't show up, or a lot of, or not a lot, but just a few kind of waitlisted players were able to get in.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it was good.
Cool. Well, congrats. Hopefully, we'll see you at another one in the future. And if you're listening to this and you haven't checked out Pastimes in Girard, Ohio, if you're on the way there, please go check it out. Owned by Rob Burke. Where did you fly into?
Oh, I actually drove.
Oh, you drove? Oh my goodness, never mind.
Yeah, about a 6-hour drive. Yeah, not too bad.
Oh, that's not bad. How much? How long?
I think like 5.5, 6 hours.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Smart man. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. I got a big drive coming up to Cincinnati and then Winter Bash, but I want to give it a shot. I'm tired of flying.
Yeah.
But next tournament that we're going to review, OBX Flippers, weekend of November 17th, just a couple weeks ago. Nice Whoppers gain there. Number 1, coming in first, Matthew Richardson, MJR Peanut, ranked 36 at the time of the tournament with 97.19 Whoppers. Lewis Bevins in second with 81.91. Scott Mott, I love that rhyme right there, with 73.28. And Drew Sidolia in fourth at 66.46 Whoppers. Congratulations, everybody there, for your haul. And right after that, we had a very, very famous establishment, 6th anniversary. Who do we got there?
Yeah, Electric Bat, 6th anniversary tournament. Looks like Derek Price won this event. He took home 118.47 Whoppers, so nice job. Rounding out the top 4, we've got Will McKinney with 94. Another Bob Matthews sighting here, BMU, with 81. And then Roland Neto. Sorry, I don't know if I'm saying that right. 71 Whoppers there.
Yeah, congrats everybody there. Congrats BMU, third there. Nice job. The Electric Bat, I've been there once when I went to Star Fighters this February. Really, really great establishment. Rachel and Kale, if you don't know them, they run the Electric Bat, I'm pretty sure, but they also have a great podcast, pinball podcast, the Batcast. Please check it out. It comes in video and audio format. They take questions on their Discord or through other means of social media, and they're just really interesting to listen to because they give you the operator's perspective, and they run a ton of tournaments out of the Bat, a league that gives an amazing amount of Whoppers, and the competition in Arizona is definitely formidable. When I did Starfighters, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm in like the playoffs for Arizona. That didn't last because the bat gives the locals a lot of opportunities and anybody that can come down the chance to earn some points. So that's our review for the recent tournaments. We have, like we said before, we'll do a little bit on the UK Open later, but coming up is the Pins and Pirates Rally this coming week, as well as Cincinnati. So if you are looking for some end-of-the-year competition, Pins and Pirates Rally in Anaheim, California, December 5th through the 8th, Cincinnati, Ohio, December 6th through the 8th, and then also the Winter Bash is the week after Cincinnati in I forgot the city in Illinois. It's about 10 hours away. I'm going to be registered for that. And then Seaside Champ, December 14th through the 15th in Seaside, California. And then that's it. That's your sort of end-of-year push into the first big event of 2025, the Indisc World Championships. I hope to see you there, Joe. Excuse me. I will be there. It's my first time this year going to it, and it was unbelievable. I think it is my favorite tournament out of all of the ones that I've been to, and now that I've been to a few. I love the level of competition there. Obviously, a little selfishly, I love you can do, less than standard if you perform and still get a good amount of Whoppers. But the level of competition there is just unbelievable. How many have you been to? 1, 2, or?
No, this is my first year going earlier this year also.
Nice.
So yeah, I agree on every, sentiment. Just really, really well run. Carl and team does a great job. And yeah, it's something to look forward to every year.
Yeah, for sure. And the pins are all really, really taken care of well. The variety to choose from as far as your card format. If you didn't know, Indisc is a card format on both classics and the main. Change this year for the high stakes is it's not going to be it's not going to be for whoppers, I believe, and it's sort of going to be this its own thing. There's also a head-to-head tournament that's going to be happening as well as we get closer to the event. And more of the details are ironed out, but just in case anything changes, we'll talk more about it then. So yeah, look forward to that to start off the year. And then February, Starfighters. I hope to see you there for that one. The Starfighters arcade has grown. They said times 2, so I can't wait to see what it's like. You didn't go to that one, right? This will be your first time.
I've never been. Yeah, I've never played pinball over in Arizona, so fingers crossed I get to make it. I'm currently signed up, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's in Mesa. I don't want to say there's not a lot to do, but the pinball was more than enough for me. So, as we get into the end of the episode, what we're going to talk about now are your current state leaders. And the reason for this is the end of the year is upon us. So I'll go through some of the first half of the current state leaders, give a little bit of a fun fact, maybe about the prize count, how many players there are, stuff like that. We'll tell you the state, the current leader, and from there we'll finish off our episode with a little review of the UK Open. And don't forget to stick around because we'll throw the interview with Jonathan S. out of Southern California to talk about the upcoming Pins and Pirates Rally tournament this weekend. So, state leaders. What is this? This is the North American Championship Series put on by the IFPA. There are many championship series. There's one for lots of different countries. After the UK Open, I was like, oh, I'm in the qualifying for the UK standings now. So that's kind of fun to think about. But right now, North American Championship standings for Alberta, the Alberta province up north in Canada. John Cotman is your current leader. There are 4,100 players. Holy cow. For Alberta. That prize fund around $2,700. Alaska, much smaller, obviously. 446 players. David Elrod is your current leader. They have had 45 tournaments. Interesting. That's a good amount, I would think, for Alaska. Alabama, Timothy Street is your current leader. Arkansas, Phil Nguyen. Arizona, Roland Nadeau. Sorry, Roland. 669 players. Or excuse me, 6,800 players, 814 unique players. Wow, that's amazing. The prize pool for Arizona, $4,432. That is not bad at all. British Columbia, Robert Gagno is your current leader there. California, big state of California. West Coast is the best coast. $8,100 prize pool as of today. That will obviously get bigger with the end of the year tournaments. Tim Hansen is your number one spot for California. Colorado, we have Walt Wood. Shout out Walt. I love playing with Walt. Such a animated character player, but such a great guy too. Colorado has 4,200 players. California, just so you know, has 461 player count, 2,391 unique players. They've had 532 tournaments. Holy cow, that's a lot. That's a lot of pinball, right?
Yeah. I know Tim, I think, is one of a couple players that has over 1,000 whoppers as the top seed in the state. So that's an incredible feat.
Yeah, I think I have for Texas, I have 150 points or something. I'm like, wow, woohoo. All right, so Connecticut, Connor Mulberry is your top dog. District of Columbia, the DC area, Matthew Gatwood. Have you played with him before?
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Matt. Shout out Matt. He's I think he's in a band right now, Desdemona's. So shout out them. They're touring. I know they were just in the West Coast in I think the Portland area or Seattle. But yeah, he's a great player. I love playing against him.
That's cool. I'm glad DC has its own little, collective. It says 31 tournaments held, 759 players, 198 unique. It's not this giant area, so props to them for getting enough people to make it a significant. It looks like a significant amount of play time. 31 tournaments is nothing to sneeze at. Delaware,
Yeah, it's a tight community. Sorry, it's a tight community, but yeah, Matt's a great player. He's won DC before too, so
oh
he'll
nice.
be.
Did you see him travel out to other tourneys or like in other states, or is he mostly local?
I think he mostly stays in the DMV area, but it'll be he'll be one to watch for DC in January for sure.
That's awesome. And again, your state champions go on to play in the nationals, which will be, I believe, held this year at the RPC, the Rochester Pinball Collective, which is where Pin Masters will be held as well. Shout out to Bruce, Ron, Zach from the Slam Tilt podcast for getting info about the RPC out to everybody in the pinball community. And if you want a great podcast to listen to, those guys have been doing it a long time. I'm sure I'm missing somebody's name, but Ron and Bruce are great hosts to listen to, and they got a lot of knowledge, and I learn a lot, definitely, once I get through the Beavis and Butthead intro. And all right, so next up is Florida. $3,000 pot there. Eric Stone, pinball's favorite weatherman, is your leader there. And also, what was that game that he did? Jaws, the Jaws NCAA March Madness bug exploiter. I think he was like spinning the reels for billions. Georgia, you've got Tommy Vernieri. Hawaii, Matt Tompkins. Man, I would love to play pinball in Hawaii. The Hawaii prize pool is $66. Hey, $66 is not bad for having the geographical limitations they do on Hawaii. So kudos to them for getting something out there. Iowa, Cody McQuiston. Idaho, Dwayne Smith. Illinois, Z-Mac, Zach McCarthy. Big tournament winner there. Tournaments that he's won there, and also obviously not won them all, but placed very well. I'm thinking of Papa when Ray Day won, and it was still a level of competition that was at Interium that weekend was just awesome. Indiana, you've got Travis Hockmeyer, a $3,500 prize pool there. Kansas, Jim Mank. Kentucky, Christopher DeWitt Jr. Louisiana, Brian Foltz. Massachusetts, Bowen Cairns. Hey, there we go. Massachusetts has $1,300 prize pool and almost 2,000 player count. Looks like about 505 unique players, and I'll let you handle the rest of these.
Yeah. So taking off from there, Manitoba, I believe, is the next one. We've got Jay Woolston, in Maryland, another local to me. Elliot Keefe is number one there. Shout out Elliot, great player. Maine, we've got Jeff Alterman. Michigan, again, the homie Dom Labella. Nice prize pool there in Michigan too. $7,792. So that's nice. It's pretty juicy.
Yeah.
Minnesota, we've got Dan Hammond. Missouri, we've got Carlton Pillard, I believe. Mississippi, we've got Tanner Wade. Montana, John Carls. New Brunswick, we've got Tom MacArthur. North Carolina, got former state champion Kaylee Campbell.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And I just skip down a little bit. There we go. North Dakota, we've got Ryan Babb. Nebraska, Jeff Davis. New Hampshire, we've got Brian O'Neill. New Jersey, current top seed is Anthony Lambos Jr. I know I've seen his name quite a bit at playing at the Delaware Pinball Collective. So I know
I think I've seen him. There. Yeah, I think I've seen that on stream too. Sounds familiar.
Really good player. New Mexico, we've got Adam Abeta. Nova Scotia, we've got Adam Derling. Nevada, we've got Jeffrey Newman. Let's see, New York, we've got Alberto Santana. Shout out Alberto, great player, super nice guy.
Yeah, we played with him at the Beast. That was fun.
Yep. Ohio, There's another over 1,000 Whoppers for the state of Ohio. It's Steven Prusa. Shout out Steven. Got to see him at the Mega Match Play. Really strong player. Oklahoma, we've got Chad Lower. Ontario, got John Flitton. Oregon, Matthew Peterson. Pennsylvania, current top seed is Alexander Kaczmarczyk. Quebec, we've got Ben, is it Dowie?
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. Rhode Island, we've got Ed Jardina. South Carolina, another up-and-coming young player, Nate Grant. South Dakota, we've got Dan Dolney. Saskatchewan, we've got Sean Amos. Tennessee, so I think this is a repeat name from earlier. Tanner Wade. Looks like he's a top seed here and also in Mississippi.
That's right.
Nice job, Tanner.
Yeah, watch Flipside Memphis on Twitch if you want to see Tanner play. That's cool.
There you go. Texas, your state, Hottie. Yeah. We've got Garrett Shahan. I think we're both familiar with.
Garrett's a beast. And it's crazy. I'm looking at the prize pool there, 7,300, right up there with Michigan and Ohio. We're a big state. I thought it'd be a little bigger than that, but still, I'll take it. But yeah, big ups to Garrett. Just a really formidable player and really solid on all the fundamentals of every skill you need in pinball.
Hell yeah. Let's see. Utah, we've got Nate Smith. Virginia, my state, we've got Brian Henson. Shout out Brian. He's a local guy. Play with him all the time at my league location. Really, really strong player and nice guy.
Nice.
Vermont, we've got Jamie McLeish. Washington with I think this might be the only 5-figure prize pool right now.
Yeah,
over $10,000. That's crazy. Lonnie Langford is a top seed there right now. Wisconsin, we've got Nathan Zalewski. And then West Virginia, WV Pinball, we've got Brian Dye.
Yeah.
That's a top seed here.
It's funny. I'm looking at Washington, so they have about 1,800 unique players. And then you go to California, they have 2,400. And I wonder if that's because Indisc brings in so many overseas players, as well as the Worlds that they had this year. Or maybe they just have people from, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what would attract, because they have a smaller prize pool. But they have less. They have more. Almost 600 more unique players. But the tournaments they run might be more, just smaller or local. But yeah, congrats to everybody on that 2024 NACS push. I'm sure some things may get shaken up, but for now, it looks like you've obviously got some big name players. And this is just for your top seeds going into the states, which start early in the first quarter of 2025. And then the winners of those go on to play at the Nationals 2025, again, location being held at the Rochester Pinball Collective, which is where Pin Masters will be held. And look forward to watching all of that action. So, again, kudos to everybody there. We'll do a quick recap. The last time we left you, I was getting ready for the UK Open. Really good time. Thank you, Neil McRae, Domino Pinball, and everybody. My first time outside of the country. Just a wonderful, wonderful experience. Everything was, smoothly run. There were some hiccups here and there. If I had to give you my initial thoughts, I love the format of having, again, I don't mind card, and this was 2 card formats. So, I would have loved to have one that was like a best game, but they also had a 3rd card format. They had Maine Classics and the Pinball Republic, which is sort of their kind of side tournament. And you did it. I don't remember if you needed as many games on it, but it was a blast because you don't get to play a lot of those European variations of some pins you see in the States. But it was a good time. I did well in classics. I got to the quarterfinals. I was in a group with Escher, Arvid, And then, what was the gentleman's name? Hold on. It was, I apologize, sir. You were super nice. Craig, maybe? Maybe it was Craig. I don't remember. But regardless, I did commentary with another gentleman, Roy. I did commentary with Roy Wills, very, very famous and a great player. But it was a good time. Levy was there, a lot of Americans, Escher, the Lefkoffs, Jason Zoller was there, Z-Mac, Tom Graff, Freyday, Carlos, and yeah, just fun. If I had to offer any advice, I would say maybe have a best game format like I've already said before. But honestly, it was a good time. Everybody was very sort of understanding that the Americans coming over on a different schedule. It was tiring. It was a lot of qualifying, but they run a tight ship, and it was fun to watch. And seeing the finals and cheering on everybody reminded me of some of the best tournaments that I've been to in the past, like a TPF when we were all cheering on Sanjay during Whirlwind. So good time had by all. The winners of your main were Z-Mac, Paul, Jason, and Lucas. The classics were won by Rayday, Escher, Vigo, and Jason Zoller. The points here are just astronomical. I think I finished 12th and I got 97 points, 97 whoppers, which was like
Heck yeah,
more than almost half of my total whopper output before. So yeah, I'm happy with it. And then Pinball Republic was Timber, Vigo, Julio Soriano, and Z-Mac. 197 for Timber on the Pinball Republic champion. And can't forget about the ladies. Carrie Wing, American, took down the UK Ladies Open. Helen de Vanderbeek, Han Verbeek, second. Stephanie Guida, third. I think that's the Pinball Princess from Slam Tilt. And then Amy Ziegenhagen in fourth. So yeah, real just quick overview of the UK Open. If you have a chance, please go attend it. I think it's one of the better tournaments, and making a big leap from flying out of the country to go attend a tournament like this is always kind of hit or miss, depending on if you've, who's running it, the logistics, and this was top notch. So thank you again, Neil McRae, Domino Pinball, everybody else that volunteered for it. It was absolutely amazing. And if I can go again, I definitely will. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
and nice job, Hottie, for taking home all those whoppers.
Yeah, I'll take it. I was. My goal was top 500, so I'm more than happy. You and me now, we're going to be pushing for 250. We'll see what happens. That decay is real.
Oh yeah.
I started feeling it now that I've looked at I looked at my card, and I'm like, oh yeah, Starfighters, I did pretty well. That's going to knock me way down if I don't have something to replace it. But what do you have going on coming up as we close out the year? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to promote, shout out?
Yeah. We just put a Metallica remastered launch party on the calendar for that, literally the last weekend of December. I think it's the 28th. Nice. So that's kind of going to be our end of year States push. It's just going to be a 4-strike tournament with the finals. So we had, a similar tournament last year on the last weekend. Had a relatively big turnout. It's expecting something similar this year. Playing a lot of good pinball here. So
where's that being held?
That's going to be held here at Ocelot Brewery. That's in Sterling. Shout out of Time Amusements.
Are they streaming it?
We don't have a stream rig, like a dedicated stream rig, but we'll see if we can get something going.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love to see if we can get that. If you do get it set up, just shout it out and get people watching. Sure. The more people that watch pinball, the better. Again, this is going to be a shorter episode. Once the UK Open ended, I just needed a break. It was a lot of pinball. Yeah. Joe knows. He was at Pinburg. He was at the Beast. And then Papa. And from there, it's just more and more. So sometimes you just need a little break. I did have a couple of people ask when this episode was coming out. It's coming out soon. But as we end the episode, I want to make sure, please stick around for our interview with Jonathan S. of Pins and Pirates. Make sure you check out their Twitch page, twitch.tv/pins and pirates. The word and is full, not the and symbol. And they will be doing the Pins and Pirates rally this coming week. I will hopefully see many of you at Cincinnati starting Wednesday, Thursday-ish. And then the week after that is the Winter Bash. But for Wizards and Warriors, I am Hottie, Frisco Pinball, with my co-host
Joe, Jay Land. See you guys in chat.
Yeah, see you in chat. And we will see you for episode 5. And see you later, everybody. Bye.
See ya.
Welcome, everybody. This is Hottie, Frisco Pinball, episode 4 of Wizards and Warriors. We have a special treat for you coming up. As we've said before, if you have any sort of competition, tournament, event, commendation, if you want, please just reach out to us and we'd be happy to give it a highlight, shout out, and go from there. So I've got Joe here, my wonderful co-host / host, and we have with us today Jonathan S. Jonathan, why don't you tell us where you're from and kind of your pinball lore, if you will, and then we'll get into promoting your awesome upcoming event.
Sure. Yeah. I'm from basically Orange County, California. It's basically Southern California. I would say it's like a little south of LA. It's basically where Disneyland is, Anaheim area, that place. And my pinball lore is I started playing pinball, I think maybe like 6 years ago. And I sort of got into it gradually, but then in the last couple of years, I started running a lot of events and sort of now am involved with some of the bigger events. I help out at Indisc, and then I help out with Captain's Arcade Showroom. They have a stream. I help stream, and I also help them with their tournaments. And we have a major tournament coming up that we do once every year, basically.
Nice. So what is the stream name so we can make sure people go follow it or at least check it out?
Yeah, it's Pins and Pirates. So it's like PINS, and then the word and then Pirates. That's very simple.
Awesome. And so Captain's is in Orange County?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, they were the ones that did the big auction, COVID auction, I know, with all the amazing, crazy prices. I know they were happy about that, at least. That was the banning auction, though, for the stuff from the banning. Yeah, that was it. Nice. And so do you guys run regular leagues out of there, like main, women's, and just special leagues, or is it just...
Yeah. There's a lot of things. So I basically now there's 2 leagues. Basically every month there's a women's league that meets on Mondays, usually twice a month, and then a open league that meets on Fridays twice a month. The schedule can vary. I think the last season has been compressed because the goal was to get it done before January. Because once January hits, there's Indis, there's regionals, all sorts of stuff goes on, and people are busy. Also, it's the beginning of the year. And then there's also launch parties. Captain's pretty much does a launch party for I think every Stern. I believe they are a Stern distributor. I should be clear that I don't technically work for Captain's, but I'm affiliated with them. I help manage the stream. I'm not an official employee. Chris and I are good friends. I'm friends with CC. Sort of like how Batman is part of the Justice League, but not really like that. That's how I like to think of it.
That's a good one
they
to
give me
compare yourself to.
A lot of freedoms. I'm very happy and very thankful for them. But yeah, they do like launch, but like they just scheduled a Metallica like remix launch party. It's like literally December 29th or December 30th, I think. And then the women's is the next day. So I guess CC just loves doing like running tournaments no matter what. And there's usually like a couple holiday tournaments too. Yeah, but I think the biggest thing, it's been the home of OC Bells and Chimes for a while. I think in terms of that league, they're going on season 16. I think the final season 16 are tomorrow. We're recording this on a Sunday. And then the other league is pretty new. It's only like season 4 or 5 of that one. So pretty cool.
That's awesome. So you've got a big upcoming event. You had Whopper Palooza, which I thought was really cool, based on all the themes of Lollapalooza, and it was 3 big events. So I'm going to throw up the flyer real quick, and then you can explain what this event is.
Okay, so this is pretty much our big event. This is we do this once a year. It's we call it the Pins and Pirates Pinball Rally. And basically, it is basically 4 days, and it's 4 tournaments, and it's herb style qualifying or best game qualifying, where basically you buy entries and you play, as much as you want, and it takes your top scores. We're using DTM to do this year. We use it every year. Shout outs to Match Play though. I know they have really improved. Andres has really improved best game. We used Match Play for the Whopperpalooza thing we ran, and I think we're gonna use it in the future as well. But right now we're using Drains for this, and there's basically 4 banks. There is the main bank, which has I think 12 games. Then there's the Classics Banks, which has 10 games. Then there is the Women's Bank, which has 8 games, and then exclusive, I guess, to our event. Although anyone can do it, there's always been a 1990s bank, which has become very popular. I think for a lot of people, myself included, when you say classic pinball, that's what I consider classics. I didn't, to be fair, I am a total poser. I haven't played pinball for more than like 10 years. When I was a kid, I didn't actually play pinball, but those would have been the pinball games I played. So those would be the classics. Whereas, like the real classics, like Paragon, that game was made before I was born. So that's like an artifact or an antique. So I think the classics that people like to say in pinball, those are like the antiques, and the 90s are the real classics because you got like Attack from Mars, Creature, uh, Jackpot, what is it? Like Adam's Family, these games that are just like amazing, like with the DMDs and everything that many people who are just like casual pinball fans know like about those games. I feel that most people probably just like match play, but that's because it's the most common. I think people in general, once you've played a bunch of tournaments, you like what's familiar. But like new players, they don't care because new players like you can play Flipper Frenzy or Pin Golf because they don't have any like frame of reference. But I feel like the local players they like match play just because it's the most common. But because we have Indus very close by to lots of local players here, a lot of people are familiar with the card format. And Indus back in the day used to be not card. It used to be best game, like what we're doing. So I think players are used to that. I think people like the best game local players because the card. Once you have that one or two bad games, you're thinking about either voiding out or I don't know what you're like exploring the rest of the bank. Let's say. Whereas best game, it's easier in a way, but you can also have that whole thing where it's like like I spent a lot on classics last year because classics are like, oh, they're so easy. Clearly, I'm gonna have that game at Old Chicago. It's gonna work out. I know. No, don't do that. But yeah, I think a lot. It's really interesting because I think in the state of California, I was looking it up and thinking about it. There aren't that many card or best game tournaments, which is interesting because you have Indus, which is like huge. And then after that, it's like I think there's one in Concord. I think Concord Open, which is now card, and then there's the Rally, which is best game. And then we'll see what happens in 2025. I'm hoping somebody runs a hybrid. No promises about whether or not we're going to run hybrid or not, but I do think someone, hopefully in California, will run a hybrid format. That would be very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so we ran a mega match play last year, or sorry, this year, earlier this year. Wow, it's still 2024. But we ran one. I feel like Jonathan was saying, I feel like the match play format's easier, like easier to run and it's more familiar for players. You don't need like scorekeepers to enter scores and kind of like volunteer / staff the event. But we did also have locally an unlimited herb format tournament. So I prefer, I think, the kind of mega match play 20 round style. I just prefer playing head to head against other players. But I definitely want to try to run a hybrid format tournament next year as soon as we can. That sounds like a really good kind of medium that's also worth a lot of points,
Yeah, I like the I don't mind card as long as there's something I can get my rage out on, like a best game on the side, like for classics. So I'm like what Papa did. That was kind of good enough for me. Indisc is tough. I mean, card is. I've told many people it's the one I don't know if I like it the least, but I respect it the most because you really have to do well. So anybody that has like a best game sort of option is always preferred to me. I don't mind spending my way into hopefully a playoff spot. We'll see though. But yeah, so anything else you'd like to say about the rally coming up?
Yeah, it'll be streamed. Obviously, all the finals. There's 2 days of finals. Saturday is classics and 90s finals, and then Sunday is women's and open finals / main. And it'll be on Pins and Pirates. We'll also stream qualifying. Although I'm not guaranteeing there's going to be commentary for all the like ridiculous number of hours of qualifying. It might just be like you can watch a bunch of people play Jaws or something like that. We'll just leave the rig as battery power permits on Thursday and Friday. We'll see. Especially because Thursday afternoon there probably won't be a stream because in the past Thursday afternoon it doesn't really pick up until after 3 or 4 when people start getting off for work. But we'll see. I don't know. Some people told me they're going to be here right at 12 to get those entries in with like no lines. So I was like, all right, I'll see you then. I know we have people coming on their lunch break too. So be cool to see if they come and play in this tournament. And the free play area is actually really cool. If you just want to come check it out, the free play area you can buy a 1-day pass. There's like a bunch of new games. Like there's an Elton John in the free play area. There is a X-Men. There is a I believe Labyrinth is out there. There's ABBA, which I didn't. I just had I played like one game of it before they moved it out there. Um, yeah, there's a lot of like new and interesting games out there, as well as classic games. There's like a Lost World out there and other things.
That's
But
cool.
yeah,
I'm glad you guys have an ABBA. So people
I
get
know
to...
it's pretty amazing. And there's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre out there. That game's growing on me. Just gotta like learn a little bit more about it. Um, yeah, I think the thing is just keep it on the radar. We plan on doing it again in 2025. It usually happens at the end of at the end, but I guess in December, the end of the year. And all the events are set up to be certified if enough people show up. Last year, only I think Open was certified because we got to the 48 plus people. But I think maybe 90s was too. 90s was actually like been really popular. It's surprisingly popular. I think when we started it, 90s was not as popular as classics, but in the last couple of years, I believe the attendance of 90s has grown because people are like, oh, these games are like very familiar and comforting to me, and games like Old Chicago are not. So um, that's
Makes
how it is.
sense.
But yeah, I think it's great.
Awesome. So thank you for coming on. And after obviously the rally, we've got Indus near the end of January. Everybody's pushing. Is this probably your last chance to make some big points in states for California?
Yeah, I think it is. I know some people from NorCal are coming. I think some people want that buy. It's really hard in California, especially this year, because not only do we have Indus, so you have people like that near the top, like Escher's near the top of the states, and then like we had Worlds here at Jim's place, so that counted. So Arvid is actually, I think, he's in the top 3 of California. So and then what I heard is like some of those people probably will come because the regionals is the week before Indus. So if you're like traveling a long distance, why not come? You probably, if you're in the top 8, you get a buy, and then like get adjusted the time zone, and you can play Indus and then be at the top again. So, but yeah, there's a lot of people coming. This is probably the biggest thing. There's a couple other events, but in terms of like just raw numbers and the ability to be certified and stuff, this is probably the last huge thing. I want to shout out Seaside Champ is the week after. That can be sort of decent and big depending on, who shows up. That's all the way in Seaside with a run at Lynn's. But after those 2 events, I think that's pretty much it because it's pretty much, Christmas time holidays. Except, yeah, there's launch parties because we have launch parties all the time here. Apparently, everybody buys X-Men. A bunch of people bought Metallica. Yeah, I don't think we're like only 2/3 the way through our X-Men launch parties here in SoCal, and then we have I think at least a couple Metallica launch parties here. Yeah, it's
Well,
nuts.
that's going to be a popular one, I bet, because of the limited quantity, at least for the LEs. I know the premiums will probably be on a lot of locations, and it looks like a great game. I haven't had a chance to play it. I know everyone's chomping at the bit to get to it. Well, thank you. Joe, you have any questions?
No, Jonathan, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Hey, no, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Hadi. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks again. I'll talk to everyone.
Bye.
The lights are flashing, the bells are ringing. I step up to the table, my heart is singing. The crowd is watching, the tension is high. I'm ready to play, it's time to defy it. Pinball warriors, we're ready to fight. Multi-ball madness, it's hard to lie. Uppers and flippers, we're in control. Pinball wizards, we got the soul. Silverball rolling, chasing the light. People fingers dancing, the arcade's alive. But flippers respond to my every command. In the pinball kingdom, I make my stand. Pinball warriors, we're ready to fight. Multi-ball madness, it's hard to lie. Uppers and flippers, we're in control. Pinball wizards, we got the soul.